70 last week. 70. Yeah, it's great. 70's the new 69. When I was blowing out my candles last year, that's just what I wished for, 69. Some people look at me and say, are you the love child of Barry Manilow and Ruth Bader Ginsburg? I can't be, because I'm almost Barry Manilow's age. Thank you, that's my mother. But I'm a retired New York City school teacher. Oh, thank you. I hope you laughed that much at my set. But I taught in the toughest school in all of South Jamaica, Queens, which is saying a lot, right? And you walk in the school building and you see the school colors, black and blue, and dried blood red. And that's on the teachers. Moaner. When we were young, we used to carve our sweetheart's name in the desk. These kids carved their sweetheart's name in their sweetheart. Some famous people went to our school. Carol Jenkins from Fox 5 News, 2 NFL stars, and the ATM Bandit. He didn't graduate, but he went to the school. I didn't teach him that. But, when we were young, we used to read these books. I don't know if anyone's my age here, but we used to read these Dick and Jane readers. They're called Basil readers. So we used to read like Run, Spot, Run, See, Spot, Run. This is how I had to teach these kids how to read. Run, Spot, Run. Dick's got a gun. Spot is a pit bull. Run, teacher, run. And those were the 10th graders. But I'm glad I'm retired, because could you imagine those books today? Run, Spot, Run, See, Dick, Run, Jane's got a dick, Run, Jane, run. Things are different than when I was teacher. And they have something new now. It's called the participation trophies. Every kid gets a prize, no matter what they do and don't do. That would have been good when I was on my honeymoon.
Yeah.
In fact, you're agreeing with me, right, miss?
Yeah.
In fact, on both of my honeymoons, because I was married twice, because they participated, but very little was accomplished.
Yeah.
And the first time I was married to a Jewish guy, and the second time I was married to a Chinese guy. So people say, what's the difference? There's no difference. They're both cheap and drive terribly. That's my politically incorrect part of the show. But it's crazy, when you're married to a Chinese guy, you have three. When you're Jewish, you have 3 New Years. So for the first New Year, it's the American New Year, and you have fireworks. Thank you. Right on the stage, I hear the laughter right in my ear. It's great. And then for the Chinese New Year, you have fireworks. But for the Jewish New Year, there were no fireworks, not in the bedroom, not on the sky, none. Thank you. Peaches talked a lot about getting older, and I love the differences. I love getting older. Like I told you, I'm 70, and I have like these pound signs here. I have exclamation points here. I have parentheses here. I'll just lay down, you can send a text message on me. And I'm losing my hair. Like, you look in the mirror, every day you see something new and exciting. So I'm losing my hair, but I know where it's going. It's going to my knuckles, which is very convenient in case I fall, have protection. Yeah, when you get older, you fall. It's standing room only, so, I'm not used to standing that long, which reminds me, I was at Woodstock 50 years ago, and I was at the new Woodstock in Delaware. Thank you, sir, for clapping. I was at both Woodstocks. And, there's a lot of changes you can imagine 50 years later, but they had the same rock stars. So Paul McCartney was singing Maybe I'm Amazed, and I'm thinking, maybe I'm amazed that you could stand there for 3 hours, Paul. I couldn't even stay the 2 hours standing up in the back because of the SRO show. Thank you. But then They had a tent at the first Woodstock. It was for bad acid trips. And the tent at the new Woodstock was for bad acid indigestion. We had a VW bus at the first Woodstock, and there was a sign on it that said, "Don't come a-knockin' if this van is a-rockin'." But this time our van had a sign to go to Delaware, "Don't come a-fussin' till I've had my Robitussin." 3 people lost their virginity at the first Woodstock. 3 people lost their dentures at this last Woodstock. Yeah, it was really different. Any questions? Oh, I thought I was at school. One thing about teaching, like this kid Stephen Jefferson melted crayons on the radiator when I taught 5th grade. Guess what he became when he grew up? A crack cocaine methamphetamine dealer. This kid comes to school, he says, teacher, and he's not a usually motivated student. So I said, yes. What? Why are you so excited? He said, I brought the word of the day and show and tell to school. Glock, G-L-O-C-K. And he spelled it right, so I didn't get him arrested. So I said I was married twice, but I didn't tell you that I'm divorced now, so I met this guy from Brooklyn. He was from Bragg Street, but he had very little to brag about because on his singles ad it said, loves long hikes. But we get to his building on Bragg Street, he presses the button and he takes the elevator up 1 flight. I said, you belong around the corner on Knapp Street. Then I met a guy also from Brooklyn. It says, loves romantic horse and buggy rides. Excuse me, you're not Amish. You live in Sheepshead Bay. Well, thank you very much.